Hi. Something that's been coming up, a lot in the last 3, 4 weeks is this idea that you're a small creator, and you've probably got a fair bunch of titles, but you're not getting there's no real company growth going on, or publisher growth. You kind of think that you need to get into marketing, but the whole idea of marketing makes your blood run cold, and it's what do you do? If you don't want to become, doing what I'm doing here and getting in front of the camera, um, and kind of selling yourself, or you don't want to spend hours on social media. It's what can you do that doesn't take up, huge chunks of your, creative time, but to get you more exposure. And one of the easiest things to do is to use the drive-through category system. And I'm not talking about spamming categories and putting your stuff into categories that it shouldn't be in, but it's more about using the category system to your advantage. Now, how the customers on the site users see the categories are through these uh, the left-hand column here on the site, and you can filter by rule system and by publisher. And really, it's about the ultimate goal would be one of these top 15 publishers, which is not going to happen, but it's what you strive for. And the sort of thing you can do is so there must be a game that you're particularly into, one you know well, one you enjoy. Um, so take that game and focus on it. Now, just as an example, I'm going to use OSR because there's thousands of systems under the OSR banner. So it's a really, really popular system. You can tell how popular it is by buying some category impressions. Dropping a title in here, then running some category impressions, and you'll just see how fast they burn through. But just take my word for it. Um, it's a really, really popular category. So there's under that main category, there's some big name games: Castles and Crusades, Dungeon Crawl Classics, uh, Labyrinth Lord, Mort Borg, OSR, so Old School Essentials, Osric, Sword and Wizardry, and this group, other OSR, and that's massive. That includes things, all of this, the Worlds Without Number, Stars Without Number, uh, Blaze in the Dark. It's really, really big. The top two in the entire category are in this, generic other category. Now, there's some big names in here as well for publishers in this category. So you've got Andrew McMill, that's Zweihander and Flames of Freedom. Fire Ruby, that's Warlock, and the sci-fi version of that. Gallant Knight Games have got loads of titles from Tiny D6 and all of the old Skull publishing. Goodman Games is Dungeon Crawl Classics. Lamentations of Flame Princess. Who else is in here? Troll Lord Games. That's Castles and Crusades. Yeah, so there's some big names in this category. But now I'm a fairly small publisher. Now, if we look just in the general hottest, I believe I have got something lurking in the top 100. It's probably down in the, or possibly not. We're getting a long way down. Oh, look, there's one. That's published by me, not written by me. Um, I thought I had something down in the, uh, but probably not. It's just wishful thinking. Um, no, so I got nothing in the top 100, which isn't really surprising because I'm not in this list of top 15 publishers. But once we start to dive in to the subcategories here, um, let's go Castles and Crusades. Take the top one. Um, so here, parts per million features. Now, I've only got two Castles and Crusades titles. Um, So obviously, Troll Lord Games are the biggest publisher in here, but you'll also find things like trying to see who else, if anyone sticks out. Um, yeah, there's no. I was looking for one where actually they were just cross. They were tagging it as Troll Lord, as Castle and Crusades when it, strictly speaking, wasn't. But so I, with two titles, I'm a featured publisher here, and my title is a fair way down. There's two in here, and I think it's in the 50s. Oh, it's right on the cusp there. There you go. There's my first title, and I'd be very surprised if my second one is in the top 100. I've not released anything for a year or more, so I'd be very surprised if I'm in the newest anywhere. Um, but that's not. Oh, that's the second one. So yeah, it came after the solo rules, and there you go. It's probably the last title there. So I've got two. So on this page, there's already four links to me. There's one here, one there, one here. When you get down to listed by popularity, I believe my title's in. There it is. It's in. Get on the first page. So that's another link to me. I don't think that other title's in here. No. So out of 371 titles or items in there, my two are getting what was that? Five links off this first page. 371 titles. You could release four titles for this game system, and you would have 1% of all of them. You would obviously get straight into the newest section. So if you prepared four titles, held them back, and then put them out one a week, for a month, you would have. You know, I'm not just advocating this one system. So this one uh, is a bundle. That's kind of cheating. You can always, this is the thing. Once you've got four titles, you could actually bundle them, and if you've got say four that you could mix and match, so let's have a look at something that's actual a real product. So this one was released January 24th, or what that's 16 days ago, 2.5 weeks ago. Um, let's have a look at the next newest. Let's go back to that one because they look like very similar. Um, they probably came out at the same time. So this title was released January the 6th. So there's one title, say a fortnight coming up. So actually, if you made uh, four titles to get your 1% of the total and released them every 2 weeks, you would probably have on this banner at the top here, you would have every other title. So you would go say here, 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 here. You know, a fair chunk of that first of banner would all be yours. If you focus on if you've got good exposure in the newest, you're likely to get organic sales, which will help you stay in the hottest. If you use a footer, so once someone sees one, they're likely to pick up others. That's great as well. If you create bundles, they will also go into the hottest. So then you can do, if you were to bundle your first two, and then bundle your second two, and then bundle your first and third, and bundle your second and fourth, and then bundle all four. You did that every 2 weeks for 2 weeks. You would have a newest here constantly for another month, which would drive sales and cross sales. So you got a chance of lurking in getting something in this hottest banner. They would also list in here, but you don't actually have to sell that many. So I've got two titles in here. I think one's copper and one is silver. So let's say under 200 sales. Under $1,000 worth of sales is a good way of looking at it. Will get you a featured publisher here, which gives you that a little bit of kudos for that. Let's look at a different of a different category. Um, the big one, the really big one, is the other OSR. Um, let's look in there for a second. And the hottest here are all going to be some really big name games. Big name, there's Hyperia, there's the Stars Without Number, Worlds Without Number, um, lots and lots of big stuff in here. There's your Andrew McMeal, that's Flames of Freedom. The next one is Zweihander's, the PD, pocket phone PDF. There's some Warlock. Some really big names in here. There's Solar Blades, Cosmic Spells. I released something for that this week, funny enough. Um, and yeah, so really big names in here. Lots of Adamantium, lots of Mithril, lots of Platinum. You're unlikely to feature up here. Now, I am not in this group here, but um, yeah, I think I was guaranteed that I could become a top 15 publisher in here, and the way to do it is release regular titles just for it that fall into this category. So write regular titles for you pick one of these. Four worlds without number, four stars without number. Um, you just pick something, and But let's have a look at how much exposure I've got here. Basically, all the slanty titles are going to be mine. So in the community content, um, that is going to drive up here. And actually, Grim and Perilous Studios is um, in this category largely because of my titles. I've got a lot of titles in there, and they're all front loaded towards the front of the banner. The newest in this category is a very active category, so you would have to release on a regular basis. Um, Now, I haven't released anything new in quite a long time in this category. So there's nothing really in the newest section until you get to here, and that was in middle of last year, I think. But when you get to the popular titles, I'm sure I've got some stuff in here that shows up on the homepage. There's one, that's silver. There's another Electrum. There's another platinum. So I've got three titles in my own name down here. I could just put out more and more titles, prep them, release them on a regular basis until I get the um, regular featuring in the newest title here. There's probably thousands of titles in this category. Yeah, 2,500. So you need 24 for to just have 1%. But you would you you can focus on this category. I want to show you another category where I did exactly this. So let's just drop back to the home page. And rule systems, Apocalypse World. Okay, I don't think I feature. No, I don't feature here because there are some big name titles in here. But there's three sub games. So in Dungeon World, which is a game I like, I play Dungeon World, so that's the one I picked on. There's this hottest bar up here, and there's my top ranking title, and I believe I've got some more in here. Okay, they've dropped down the listing, but I've got one in there, in the main kind of hottest. Where was it? It was 17, so it's in the top 20. In the newest titles, I released the. So let's have a look at Foul Sewers. Uh, so I released these one a week, and that was in July 20. So half a year ago, um, possibly more. So yeah, that's when I was putting out the titles. Um, if we look at those again, so there's three there. If I go back and there's one, there's one, there's one. So there were two or three titles a week. There's another one, um, and I think that was the first one. So you see, it's not a massively busy uh, category, which means putting things out on a regular basis gives you lots of nice exposure on this newest. Once we get into the most popular, there you go. There's my first title. Um, I think there might have been another one on the homepage. It might have dropped off the bottom now. Um, yeah, so there's. Uh, if we go on to page two, that's when they start to pop up. So again, out of the 600 titles, I've got fairly good homepage exposure, and I'm listed here as a a named publisher. If you were to look through these lists and look at what people are creating, it's actually becomes where you think you'll see people there have like one or two titles, and they might only be a couple of silvers, and you think actually that you got a chance, getting two silvers in a reasonable period of time isn't unachievable. And if you increase your exposure in a category, in a specific category, that will help you do it. Focus all your efforts on one niche. Build that up. Once you get to the named publisher bit, then maybe look at a second category. If you liked other games in this group, yeah, I've bought some more Apocalypse World games, but I haven't played them yet, so, because I'm not playing them, I'm not writing for them. But if in the main Apocalypse World category, if there was a game in here which would give you, the ability to write for it, then you could, focus on that category. And I don't think it's even 15 categories. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's exactly 15. This shows the top 15. Um, you'll often see categories with less than 15, which means if you release one title in there, then you will automatically list on the next refresh. Um, so, and these aren't ordered by size, they are simply ordered by name, alphabetical order. So, focus your efforts on a category. Now, I would say that rule supplements outsell adventures. Um, Almost every game master is some kind of completionist, and if there is a rule supplement which gives them new options, or a monster book that gives them new creatures, if it's out there, they want those options, so they're likely to buy it. Adventures, you get people that play only official adventures. You get people that buy regular modules. You get people that buy modules, don't play them, but they pillage ideas from them for their own games. And then a large number of GMs only run their own stuff. So you're really looking at maybe a quarter of the total audience if you're writing adventures. Um, Whereas a rules supplement, you almost every GM at some point will want it. So if you can drop two or three small rule supplements or monster books, you could easily you become a dominant force in focus on one category. Then when you've done that, go for another category. Then when you've done that, go for another category. And because these categories are in a tree-like structure or roots-like structure, you could dominate Dungeon World, and then you could come along and you could dominate the Apocalypse World engine, and then you could sorry, Apocalypse World, and you could then try and dominate Monster of the Week. Um, and the main category, the higher category, includes the sum of all those below it. And as soon as you've got enough exposure in the bottom categories, you will feature in the top categories. And then once you're in a category that features directly off of the drive-through homepage, you're likely to get more organic traffic. But really what you're looking for is more and more homepage real estate. Um, if I was to go for now, I always think this is a bit weird that adventures are a big part of drive-through, but they actually lurk under non-core books. And then, sorry, just wait for this to load. Um, and then adventures are here under you. So they're it's kind of 3 clicks down. Um, so once you get into adventures, um, I feature now in the main adventures category, and in this hottest bar, um, I'm not sure where my first one appears. Um, Probably quite a way down by now. So there's one of mine. That's a couple of weeks old now. Um, in the hottest community, that's mine. That's a couple of years old. I get quite a lot of exposure. There's another one that's coming up for platinum. That'll be platinum in a few weeks, I think. Um, that's mine. So again, here's more down here. So I've got fairly good exposure on the uh, community community content adventures. I'm surprised I didn't have something soon up here. I'm wondering if the cover didn't load, or it's just wishful thinking. So there's one there. Okay, there's another one there. Um, so I've got say maybe two in the top 100 hottest adventures. Um, then when you get to the newest titles in the category, this does move fast. There are lots of adventures put out each week. This title here was released on Monday. It's now Wednesday, and we're already partway down to. Got I've got two here. Uh, so there are so many put out each week that this is a real flyby. Um, no, I can't even see the previous week, so it's probably over 100 a week. Um, Community content adventures. That's one of mine. Published by me. That's published by me. That's published by me. So there's less adventures in the community content than there is under publisher, but you really want to be under publisher. When we get to the main category, most popular, just seeing if there's one of mine. There's another. So that's two. So yeah, there's two or three titles lurking on this homepage, and two or three titles getting on the first page here is enough to list me up here as a featured publisher. When we and the reason I'm featuring there is because now if I was to look at low level adventures, um, let's just see what we've got here. Because obviously you're now getting a smaller part of, there's maybe 100 adventures released, in a week but okay, so there's one right in center, top seven hottest low level adventures, um, and I think there's going to be more in here of ours. There's another one at 20th, and okay, so there's another one. So yeah, and in the community content here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in immediate view. Uh, Newest titles, again, there's one there. Newest community content, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 1, 2. It looks like 2 in the main category. So yeah, get a fair amount of exposure. And for low level adventures, we also link there. Um, if we look at obviously solos, my kind of speciality. If I go into the solo section, um, solo and game books, this is where most people are going to look for my stuff. So, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I've got a big chunk of this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's just, oh, that's mine as well. It's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oops, didn't mean to do that. 14. So that's kind of 14 or 15 in the top 50 hottest titles in this category. So about a third of it. When you get the community content, it's easy to say that that's not mine, but I think there might be. Oh, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of the entire scroller, 9 are not mine. So 9 out of 27. And actually, of those 9, about 5 of them aren't even solo. I don't know why they're in here. Um, so yeah, that's mine. The newest, I've got 1, 2, 3. That's There might be one more. 4. I've been doing a lot of adventure writing recently, so 5. I've got 5 in the about the top 20. There again, the community content, I've got a lot in. And then when you get to the most popular, there's one, there's another, there's more, there's a whole run of them here. Because this is what I was saying to you about, doing regular releases into one category and you can kind of dominate it. Just look at the screen space that I have in my category. It's every single scroller here I have got, dozen, at least 15 titles. And then down in the main category, great swathes of it are just mine because I have regularly released into this one category. You know, I've got something like 320 titles now. Um, that's not something you're going to reproduce in a short time, but you can start to work on it. I got listed in one category with only 2 titles. This one I've got, maybe 60 titles in here. Um, Actually, I can answer that one directly. I've got a lot of titles in this one category. Um, 73. So 73 titles in that one category, but that has gained me such a huge amount of screen space. But you can do it. You can just pick a deep category and become featured. Get a listing in there, and then move up the tree towards what you really want to be known for. And this will help build up the uh, your presence as a publisher. Now, this is something that's interesting. Last week or the week before, I think I was saying about your exposure. I think it was the Cobalt Sages uh, video. I was saying that they didn't have. I think they had a logo, but they didn't have their publisher link. I've linked uh, my banner here. I have linked the name, and that is the little expand link that wasn't showing the other week. Now this is the same browser, same version. Now it's showing. So I think it was a drive-through glitch, and when you open that up, you get more about what I'm doing. Um, so this is making use of your publisher page, and it doesn't only show on your publisher page. from a category, if people then filter by you, it also shows your introduction here. Um, so yeah, it's at the end of a long road drilling down through categories, you can end up at the perfect exposure, which is everything you offer to people that play that game. So that's what you really want to achieve. Okay, I've rambled on for long enough today. It's about half an hour. Sorry about that. But that is something you can do. There was no marketing involved, no scary selling, no having to put yourself out there in video, TikTok, YouTube, or even spend time on Twitter. So there you go. Use the categories, pick a category, and try and dominate it. Okay, thank you for watching.